It's been dominating the press, but what is the truth about hidden sugar in our food and drink?
Well, here to help us work it all out, we're joined by Dr Chris Van Tulleken. Is that right?
That's right.
Who, last month, alongside his identical twin, tested the real impact of sugar and fat as part of a groundbreaking Horizons documentary. Works perfectly because, of course, with a twin, same genetic makeup, build, so when you do a controlled experiment like this, the results, I assume, are much more accurate.
Yeah, and our results reflected much larger scientific studies that have been done. And what we found was that you need some carbohydrate in your diet to function, and that an extremely hyper-low carb diet, these very kind of fashionable high-fat, low-carb diets, may in fact not be all that good for you. And that's what we found, and the studies back that up. But recently, other studies have come out showing that high rates of sugar intake, so this kind of stuff, is really bad for you. And we've known that for a long time.
So who was on what diet and what did you eat?
So I had a very high sugar, very low fat diet. Well, I had a high carbohydrate diet, but it also contained a lot of sugar, and I lost a bit of weight. Zand, my brother, on his very high fat, low carb diet, lost much more weight, but it was quite an unsustainable thing, and he couldn't think, he couldn't exercise, it was quite hard for him.
What was interesting was that you found that actually fat on its own and sugar on its own didn't really do too much, but it was when you combined the both together that was actually the addictive bit, because a lot of people are saying sugar's addictive,
Yeah.
but you think it's the combination of the two.
And I think that's kind of instinctively obvious. If we get some table sugar and you have a spoonful of it, you don't want to have another spoonful of it. And the same is true of cream. You'd never eat it. If you mix the two, it makes ice cream, and you can just eat it all day, as we all know.
Yes, true.
Yeah.
Talk us through what you've got on the table here.
So we just, I think that the press at the weekend has come up with a lot of stuff. The World Health Organization is saying that they want to reduce everyone's sugar intake to essentially 1 chocolate bar's worth a day, 50 grams a day. So I guess if we start with an iced popular brand coffee drink.
Yes.
If you have the 3 shots of caramel, it will have almost 100 grams of sugar. So, I mean, if I spoon it out, it will be 20 or even up to 30 spoonfuls of sugar.
Wow,
I'm going to lose count.
So
I mean,
that really does
almost,
exceed the amount.
just to pour it out like that. I mean, it's a lot of sugar.
Now,
huge amount of sugar.
You'd expect that to have a lot of sugar in it, because it looks like that's got a lot of sugar in it. A tin of beans, however, I wouldn't have thought that would have much sugar in it.
Well, a lot of savoury food has hidden added sugars. So there's about 20 grams, so almost half your recommended daily amount in a tin of baked beans, which is maybe not what you'd expect.
And that's the corresponding amount that's in that tin of beans.
That's 20 grams. Now, there's a bit more, depending on the size of chocolate bar. There's about 30 grams in both the chocolate bar and the can of cola, but also in the banana.
See, my worry is that there's obviously much more nutritional value in a banana, but now when people see this, they're going to go, well, I might as well have the chocolate bar because it's the same as a banana.
I think it's really important to say there's much more in a banana than the sugar, and it's interesting, if you're going to worry about your total daily sugar intake, you have to factor in that you've eaten a banana, because a banana takes you halfway toward your total intake. But it's a much better snack than a can of cola.
But is all sugar bad for you? Because almost when I think about giving up sugar, I would almost not count fruit, because I feel like there's so much other health benefits to eating an apple or a banana than there is. I mean, it's sort of, because there's different types of sugars, and it's like fructose. You tell me, you're the expert. I know I nearly was about to reel them off.
You were going to do this so well.
I panicked.
I didn't want to interrupt. It's essentially, if you're having natural sugary stuff that is sweet, it is biochemically all pretty much the same. If you have, everyone worries about the high fructose corn syrup. Well, chemically, that is essentially the same as honey, as agave syrup, and if you melt it down as table sugar. It's very,
so you can
very
put
similar.
all of those names to them, agave and honey and sugar. Basically, it is still
Even
sugar.
if it's fair trade, organic, brown, wholesome.
Doesn't your body react to it differently? Like agave syrup, for example, your body reacts better to that than a spoon of...
No, if you have a can of cola that is sweetened with agave syrup, it is biochemically identical to it being sweetened to the same level as with high fructose corn syrup.
Wow.
So the point is, I mean, this is where diet gets very complicated, because yes, absolutely, fruit and veg, very, very good for you. But if you're worried about your sugar intake, remember, when you have a glass of fruit juice, there is an awful lot of sugar intake. So try and have fruits that are less sweet.